Know the difference with Annex Wealth Management? Today's show about reviewing what we know now post-election and a possible impact or ramification of the presidential election. As Dave Spano says, politics and economics do collide. Annex is a fee-only fiduciary that assists our clients with investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning. What might happen with retirement planning? Arabella Parins is a CFP and a financial planning specialist and a key member of the Annex Wealth Management Financial Planning team. Thank you for joining us today, Arabella.
Thanks, Danny.
Dr. Brian Jacobsen is our chief economist.
Yes, Arabella, it is so great to be in the studio with you. I always love the interactions we have around the audience, the energy that you bring, the passion and knowledge that you bring to financial planning for our clients. So thank you for that. I want us to focus more on retirement planning for this segment. And the Associated Press, they do a really interesting survey prior to the election, then coming out of it. About 120,000 people is who they survey. So it's a very large sample, and it's always about, who's voting, why are they voting the way that they are? And one of the big issues was inflation and the economy. When it comes to inflation and retirement planning, how do we incorporate inflation assumptions into retirement plans?
Yeah, so inflation has definitely been a bit of a hot topic lately. We've all been hearing about it in the news with all the candidates outlining their plans to tackle inflation. When it really comes down to it, the rising cost of living is a very common threat to retirement. Annex includes various highly researched custom inflation assumptions within our financial plans to model all the potential risks and impacts of inflation with different levels of growth rates for different types of expenses, as there really is no one-size-fits-all when it comes to a rate of inflation for all these different expenses that can be mapped out throughout your retirement. And we go back and we adjust these assumptions every single year based on the current environment, the markets, so that we're always up to date with the current inflation projections. And at the end of the day, it is crucial to understand whether your plan is at risk or not as costs continue to rise.
Another big topic that came up during the campaign, I'm not sure exactly where he was when I first heard it. Former President Trump and future President Trump had talked about taxing Social Security benefits or not actually taxing them. I think a lot of people might not realize that some of your Social Security benefits could be subject to tax depending upon your income. But he's talking about not doing it. How realistic do you think that might be?
Trump has promised, and that's a direct quote when I say that, he said, "I promise to end the federal taxation of Social Security benefits." And this really leads to an increase in the income of many retirees who are paying taxes on their benefits. Annex's financial planning process accounts for the different levels of taxation on various income sources, whether that's Social Security, pensions, annuities, etc. But this change, if they end the taxation of Social Security, could lead to plans looking very different and opening up many people to more planning opportunities, such as Roth conversions. However, because there's always a con to everything, this could contribute to the Social Security Trust Fund's deficits without that Social Security tax revenue coming in and lead to insolvency much sooner than was predicted. Experts say that the Social Security Trust Fund could be depleted as soon as 2031 now, which will lead to difficult decisions from policymakers, whether they have to end up cutting benefits or find new revenue sources for Social Security payments. And, we're really going to have to wait and see. No one knows exactly what will happen.
Sure. We don't have to worry about that for 7 more years, though, right? If it's 2031. So we'll just deal with it at the last minute, I'm sure. No, hopefully they'll start dealing with that issue a lot sooner than that. But there is still time. Now, you mentioned Roth conversions. Could you dig into that a little bit more? Tell me more about what Roth conversions are, how they can be used.
Yeah. Under the current administration, there actually was drafted legislation that wasn't ultimately passed that threatened to restrict Roth conversions and similar strategies. We likely will not see that with Trump's administration, as they appear to be much more pro-tax strategies such as that. And the elimination of Social Security tax opens up many individuals, whether they're high income, low income, everything in between, to Roth conversions. With the elimination of Social Security taxation, where that comes in is Roth conversions are adding taxable income to your return every single year. And the Social Security taxation increases as you have higher levels of income. Sometimes people inadvertently end up adding extra taxation to their Social Security because they're completing Roth conversions or adding any other sort of income. And so you just push yourself up into that next level of taxation for Social Security. We call this the Social Security tax torpedo. And that's something that, is a very big pitfall that needs to be avoided. And it can be a big deterrent for completing strategies such as Roth conversions. With the elimination of the Social Security tax, we're going to see many more Americans being able to benefit from Roth conversions, as you're not afraid of realizing that much more taxable income with worrying about where your Social Security tax is going to end up that year.
Sure, that makes sense. And so you really want to try to maybe do those conversions to get that lower tax rate on the income, as opposed to in the future, if you do it, it might be at a higher tax rate. Is that kind of the motivation there?
Right. It's sort of a double whammy where, if you accidentally increase that taxation of your Social Security, then not only are you getting that additional taxation on your Social Security, but then also you're realizing all that tax from the Roth conversion as well. So instead, you can just really focus on, okay, what is the Roth conversion going to add in terms of taxation without worrying about that little cherry on top of this Social Security tax torpedo.
Sure. Well, the torpedo is a good one. You don't want it to torpedo a good plan, right? And which I think kind of brings up the last question is, with all the changes that are up in the air, if people are trying to think about how can they keep that long-term plan floating, not to be torpedoed, what are some of the things that people can maybe think about doing?
So it's really important to stay informed about policy developments and how they could potentially impact your retirement. It's always a good all-around idea to focus on having a retirement plan, having a long-term strategy with stability and flexibility built in to be able to adjust for these changes as they come, as no one really knows exactly what's going to happen with tax and policies and everything. So you want that flexibility to be able to go with the flow and be able to adjust and switch as these changes arrive. Here at Annex, we have a team of experts to stay on top of these developments for you. And trust me, we love staying on top of all this. We have all these nerds who are reading about all the different, potential changes in legislation when they're passed and, really seeing how we can apply that into our own clients' financial plans, while simultaneously helping you focus on your retirement goals so you don't have to worry about all these different factors that are going into your financial plan. A lot of our decisions center around maintaining that flexibility for our clients to stay on top of all of these unexpected changes, with definitely many more yet to come, as really, we can hypothesize all we want about what changes are going to come. But at the end of the day, we don't know exactly what's going to happen, and definitely a lot will come out of left field. So that flexibility is important. If you don't yet have a retirement plan, Annex would be happy to work with you and provide insight on your future plan. You can reach out to us at annexwealth.com.
Arabella Parins, CFP Financial Planning Specialist, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, next Tuesday, join us at the Elm Grove Women's Club for Politics, Planning, and Portfolios, an election impact review. Again, that's Tuesday, 5:30. How will election results affect your financial plan and portfolio? Join Dave Spano, Brian Jacobsen, Deanne Phillips, Tom Parks. It is 10:30. Time for news. Let's go to the WTMJ Breaking News Center.